time day one, especially with a couple new, a lot of new faces out there, particularly at quarterback. Just a lot of learning opportunities, mistakes they'll make, but the structure of how we've got spring ball with Tuesday and then an off day, I think it really sets up really well for good learning opportunities for the guys. And you can tell them improving from even like their first set of team to the second set of team, just with their comfort level of calling the offense and operating that way. So yeah, I mean, there was some positive things to see, and a lot of veteran guys that it's awesome to see running around out there, but a lot of work to do.
We saw Zach Card get some run. I saw Montrell on the sideline. I didn't see Taz. Is he unavailable right now?
Yeah, he was unavailable to go today, and hopefully we'll see him later in the spring.
Coach, you guys just talk about the relationship you made with DJ during the recruiting process, and ultimately him landing here and just what he's brought to the program so far.
Yeah, he's been an awesome guy to get to know, and has played a lot of football and played in some big time games, and I think he's had an awesome attitude as far as coming into a new program, respecting some of the guys that have been here. But man, I just think that kind of humble confidence, I think kind of sat well with Coach Smith and I during the recruiting process of like, man, this guy's really a confident guy, but he's also real for all the stuff that he's done and how highly recruited he was. And, just coming in, I think had a really good attitude about learning, being patient with it, learning the offense, and man, I've really enjoyed getting to know him, and awesome work ethic, and I'm just excited to see him develop from now through the end of spring. It's going to be fun to be a part of.
For sure, and just our observations today, he can definitely throw it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big time arm, and we just got to get him, his eyes and feet all right, and then it's just some things schematically are a little bit different than where he was coming from, and that stuff will come.
The young fellow had a couple moments as well today, Hayden. What do you see just right out of the box?
Live arm, and he's just an energetic, fun guy. You can tell when he walks into the huddle, he's just got a presence to him. Those guys kind of feed off of, and good confidence to him. And it was awesome to see him. And Skelly, I think he hit one, big one down the middle on the post there. But yeah, I mean, and he's got a little athleticism to extend some plays when things break down. So just continuing to get those guys more comfortable with what we're doing and calling it, being under the center a little bit. I just think that they'll quit thinking so much a little bit and just go out and play, and I think we'll see more of that as the spring goes on.
Is it beneficial to have him and somebody like DJ who has played so much football kind of learning things at the same time within you, just having like a young guy that can kind of tap along with like a veteran as to go about it?
Yeah, and I think having Ben Gobranson too, I mean, a guy that's been in our system for a couple of years and did some great things for us a year ago. I mean, I think the room is really, it's a good mix, I guess, of experience levels, and then those two guys coming in and learning it together. Yeah, DJ's kind of like, hey, I went through it this time at Clemson. This is how I kind of go about learning it, just the process. And then I think the time that is required to spend away from the practice field to get to learn it and get to really understand it.
You find those guys are leaning on Ben, and Ben is kind of helping them out along the way?
Yeah, Ben's been great, man. I think Ben's helped those guys out a ton, and when these guys have kind of gone and thrown and done some things on their own, I know those guys are constantly leaning on, asking Ben questions about how we do things, how we call it, why we do something like that when the coaches were not available, and he's been great. He's been great about it. The room, I think so far the room has been great. Those guys are feeding off each other and competing. It's been fun to be a part of.
So Riley Sharp from deciding that, obviously, seems like a journey. As the season starts, but what will be the separator there? What will you look for in that race?
Yeah, I just think who we feel gives us the best chance to move the football and score a bunch of points, and who we really feel like we really trust, I guess, to do the things that we're asking that position to do and run our offense. And yeah, there's so much time. I mean, it's before we get to that first game. Right now, I've just challenged those guys to really just dive into it, learn it, experience it. You're going to make some mistakes coming through spring. I've just asked them to learn from it and then come out and be better the next day.
Competition is nothing new, and neither is like roster additions. But when you're someone like Ben and you're now competing against somebody who is arguably the most famous transfer in college football this year, like do you guys approach him differently, and just like how you help him prepare to face that competition, or just like how does he kind of like handle that?
Ben's been great, man. And Ben's been competing since the day he got here. And we've talked a little bit about it. And I just said, man, watching the film from last season, he did a lot of good things and won some ball games for us and MVP in the bowl game. And I think he grew a ton last year. And I think he had a great offseason. And so I think it was for him, is like, you don't have to go out and be perfect, on every play. Is go out and keep challenging yourself, make some mistakes, and then keep growing and developing yourself and let it play out. But he's had a great attitude about it. It's going to be a fun competition to watch as these other two guys get more comfortable with what they're doing and they can get kind of on the same level. Right now, Ben's got a pretty good leg up because he's just more comfortable with the system and how we're doing things.
Riley Sharp made the move from linebacker over to tight end. He played tight end eons ago when he was a high school student. Do you see him maybe taking more of that Jack Coletto role where he could block, he could maybe be a fullback, or do you see him as a pure tight end?
That's something I think we'll sort out as the spring goes on. We're looking to fill that role with Coletto, and I think this spring we're going to try a number of different guys there, and Riley could be one of those. Right now, I think he's just moving positions as we've kind of focused on, hey, let's just learn the tight end spot. But as we get into the fall, and we'll see how it kind of plays out with the other people there, but I think that's something that we could potentially look at.
In terms of just your quarterback coaching career, is this one of the deeper quarterback rooms you've been a part of?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I've been fortunate to be a part of some pretty good ones, man. And I think, you look at it, I feel like the talent's there right now. And right now, myself as a coach, I'm like, man, I got to catch the guys that are new. I got to catch them up. And that's just I just think it's a fun challenge for you as a coach. It's like, hey, I got some guys with some ability now. Not that we didn't in the past, but I've got some guys with ability. I can really, get these guys caught up. And I think there's just a big ceiling for the offense moving forward.
Over the years, you guys have had so many different quarterbacks, taking snaps in games just based on injuries and things like that. But about how long do you expect that connection between the quarterback and his receivers to really link up to where you want it on game day? We haven't set a date on it when we're going to make an announcement or anything like that. And I do think, it is beneficial. The earlier you can get to that in fall camp and make that decision, say this is the guy to where he can really start hammering out and taking those reps with the first group. Really, those guys spend so much time together, and we're going to rotate guys through to where in the summer they're throwing to a variety of guys, and hopefully they get that timing going. As we get into the off season, as we go into the off season, they're going to have a lot of reps to get all that stuff ironed out. Is it a bit
take us
harder?
back a little bit to when you heard DJ was interested and how that unfolded, and just what was your reaction? How did you go about getting to know him? As well?
Yeah, it happened. It all happened pretty quick because we were going through kind of the bowl prep, and so it was a pretty busy time. But yeah, he had kind of reached out and shown some interest in us, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I think that really set with Coach Smith and I hit us like, man, this guy's he's genuinely interested in our program and has seen us play and watched some of our games, liked the system that we ran and what we'd done with some QBs. And I think he was excited about the pro style aspect of our offense and how that could potentially help him move forward. And then just as in that phone call, I really was impressed at how humble of a guy he was, given how highly he was recruited, how in the spotlight he was in the national scene in Clemson, to be interested in our spot and be, asking us questions about our thing and really kind of praising what we had done in Oregon State. And I think that was really cool to see, and just really liked the kid, awesome kid, cool kind of story growing up, and it's been fun to get to know him.
No connection or link though. You just kind of.
Not as much, no. I mean, he was pretty big time coming out. When he came out of high school, we weren't really in the mix of it at that point. And so I didn't really get a chance to know him through the first recruiting process very well. So it happened all pretty quick, and really over myself probably 2 or 3 phone conversations.
Did he commit sight unseen?
Yeah. He didn't. He told us. He hadn't come out before. It was cool.
They were all that easy, huh?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice.
How much of a security blanket is it to have so much experience back on that offensive line?
It's awesome, man. It's fun. I just walked out there and the first group runs out and you're like, man, a lot of these guys have been out here for 3-4 years and played a lot of football. Adjustments, targeting, picking up pressures. They're just seasoned veterans. They played on the road and
diverse environments. And and they know what Coach M, to have the same coach with those players for that many years, I just think is totally beneficial. It's going to help us. And as the quarterback guy, that always makes you feel pretty good too.
Is it a bit more difficult to coach a guy like DJ who's played so much football, just maybe the difference in tendencies that maybe done something a certain way at Clemson compared to what you guys want to do here compared to an incoming freshman who you can really mold?
Yeah, there is, and there's some things. I mean, we spent a lot of time watching just some of his games at Clemson and seeing what he did well and what he's comfortable with, and then each guy's technique and stuff is going to be a little bit different. And we told him, hey, we tried to tweak a couple things to make you a little bit more efficient, but ultimately we want to do what you're comfortable with, and if we can help you in any way, like I said, to make you more efficient, we're going to do it. But I want him to be comfortable and go out there and play with some confidence, as opposed to maybe a freshman where we might lean towards changing a little bit, of some more things.
Is that mechanics or schemes or both?
Probably more on the mechanical or technique side. And there's very slight techniques. Because I told him there's a reason we recruited you. You know what I mean? We don't want to change too much.